Stand or someplace.
Yeah, I saw the comments.
He's borrowing on my phone. He hopes to give us up ahead.
Oh, yeah. That's horrible.
I got the gist of it. I'm reading the note.
Recording in progress.
Word.
Guess you'll be the chair tonight.
Oh,
We don't have a chair or a vice chair.
oh, okay.
Seniority.
Well, okay, we do have a quorum, so I guess we could start. Good evening. This is the regularly scheduled meeting of the Trinidad Planning Commission for Wednesday, August 20th, 2025. First item on the agenda is the roll call.
Commissioner Slade?
I'm here.
Commissioner R.S. Johnson?
Here.
Commissioner R.F. Thompson?
Here.
Commissioner Hageman and Commissioner Cole are absent.
Okay, thank you. The next item on the agenda is approval of minutes. We have one set of minutes from June 18th. Do we have any comments, questions?
Yeah, I say that I was going to abstain from voting, so I don't know if it's worth deliberating if there's one or two people to vote nay on it.
Yeah, so that means we will have to postpone the vote on those until next meeting. If you have any questions or comments, I do have one on page, I guess it's packet page 8. I just wanted to clarify something. There were two motions here on this page. First motion was passed unanimously 4-0. And then the second motion does not have a vote. Is that, I think we voted twice, but I don't remember. Not that that's a big deal, but in case there's any question as to what the vote count was. Any questions, any further questions or comments? Hearing none, then we'll postpone any vote on these minutes until we have a forum. Okay, the next item is, well, I should ask for public comment just to be proper. Any public comment on the minutes?
Represent the public in this moment. My name is Clay Johnson. I'm not actually, I live in Trinidad. I live just outside of Trinidad. Do you want to come to the podium? I think you can all hear me, right?
Yeah, it's fine. Clay, are you making a public comment? My comment is there public comment on the minutes?
I do not have any.
Okay, we'll get to you in a minute. That's fine. Yeah, just wanted to clarify the bureaucratic stuff.
Thank you, the clarification.
Hearing none on the minutes, as I said, we'll postpone approval. Next item on the agenda is approval of the agenda. We have one discussion, public hearing, decision action item tonight. Any changes to the?
Oh, not for me.
Okay.
And then approve the agenda.
Okay.
Say that.
Moving second, any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
I,
Aye, opposed. The ayes have it. Okay, next item is items from the floor. And this is an opportunity for anyone from the public who would like to comment, make comments to the Planning Commission on anything other than the items on our agenda this evening. So I'll turn it over for public comment.
I have no specific questions at this time.
Okay, all right, thank you. Any further public comment? No, I don't see any. Oh, I do hands. That's not a hand raise, is it?
Just your mouse. But it's on there. If it's a white hand, ignore it. That's just a mouse.
Okay, just want to make sure. And I assume that that's Nina.
I would assume so, yes.
Okay. Thank you. That was getting a little confusing. Okay. All right. I said we have one agenda item this evening. The agenda item number one is Norell 2025 Coastal Development Permit, Use Permit, Design Review to convert existing church into a 2-bedroom residence and convert an existing 2-bedroom apartment into a 1-bedroom accessory dwelling unit. Turn it over to staff.
Sure, thank you. So, in some ways, this is a pretty simple, straightforward project, but there are some complicating factors. It probably looks familiar because you guys approved a rezone of the property about a year or so, well, maybe a little bit more, probably about a year ago. So this is a church with an attached apartment unit on it. The church had been vacant for several years before it was sold into private hands. The applicants came forward, they wanted to convert the church into a home with the attached second unit. The previous zoning was for public and religious for the church use. So we did go through a rezone process to change that zone to suburban residential, which is the same as the other parcels on Berry Road. In the suburban residential zone, residences are principally permitted use, and you can have a second unit with a use permit. So that is the reason for the use permit. The other complicating factor on the site is that there is an existing wetland. It's a remnant drainage channel. It was modified and impacted with construction of the freeway, but it does qualify as a wetland. So that was mapped. There were several addendums to that report that kind of looked at the type of wetland, looked at the appropriate setback because the existing improvements are within the normal 100-foot setback and even 50 feet. So the wetland report did find that a 50-foot setback is adequate to protect the wetland. There are some existing improvements already within that 50 feet. There is one corner of the ADU that will be the deck, and the storage unit room underneath will be reconstructed. That is within 50 feet of the wetland. But there were some recommended mitigation measures that have been included as approval that will help protect the wetland for that. So the project mostly involves interior remodeling to accomplish its goals. There are some minor changes to basically decks and stairways, and they're pretty minor changes. But because they alter the external profile of an existing structure, that does require design review. And it's a coastal development permit, so design review is our normal process for a CDP as well. So the project does meet all the zoning standards, setbacks, density, lot size, parking, all those kind of things. As I said, exterior changes will be minimal. They're not really visible from any public viewpoints. Don't expect that views will be impacted. The applicants would like to remove a few small trees. None of them are over 12 inches DBH, so they don't require a permit as long as it's not, an excessive amount of tree removal. But just there's been some topping of the trees near the second unit over the years, and they're pretty rough shape. So I get those a little bit further back from the second unit, as well as from the leach fields, the roots that impact the leach field. So that's included as part of the project. But not necessarily specified exactly where and what trees, again, because they're all smaller than 12 inches, so don't qualify as major vegetation removal. Description of the various wetland report and addendums and some of the issues that were identified, as well as the recommended mitigation measures. Then you've got the conditional use permit findings, and then the design review findings, both of which are written in a manner to allow approval. But as usual, if you feel that findings can't be made or information is presented that conflicts with that information, and those can be reworded. Staff recommendation is for approval of the project as conditioned. There are 11 conditions. Number 4 captures all the wetland mitigation measures. I did, since I published a staff report, the health department did issue the septic permit. So they do have a copy of their approved permit for the septic system. Otherwise, the condition, other than the wetland mitigation, the conditions of approval are all pretty standard. With checking the leach field and the septic system, the deed restriction, some erosion control measures, and then there's one for lighting as well to make sure that the lighting doesn't shine into wetland.
Thank you. Any questions for staff from the commissioners?
I appreciate you mentioning that county had approved septic system, because I saw nothing in here that would say any more than it had to be checked when it was constructed. Thank you for covering that.
I've got very few concerns about the project itself. I do have a couple of quick questions about the staff reports, if you don't mind. I overlooked its availability, so I'm sorry, but is there really no official distinction between like a naturally occurring wetland and one that was created 60 or 80 years ago because of a road construction project?
There can be, but that's especially in the coastal zone. No, road ditches can be wetlands. Yeah.
What can I just follow up on that?
Yeah.
Why do we assume that this drainage way, this swale is related to the highway construction?
That was just based on historic aerial photos. You could if that, and that's in one of the wetland report addendums. They kind of looked at trying to classify the wetland, and it appeared that there was a drainage channel there prior to construction of the freeway.
Yeah, it was.
And then irrespective of, I guess, origin of that wetland, are there sensitive or rare flora and fauna there?
No, the person who did the wetland delineation also is qualified to do rare plant surveys. Did not note the presence of any rare plants. Also, an employee from the Department of Fish and Wildlife did visit the site during the rezone process as part of that referral process, and also found no evidence of rare plants or habitat.
The last question is unrelated to the wetland, but about the trees and the assessment that they exhibit unhealthy growth forms and density. I was just curious who made that assessment.
It's pretty obvious when
Okay,
you're on the
that's my
site.
assumption, but
Yeah,
just curious.
it's messy looking. Yeah. And then some, it's possible that for the leach field, the trees that were topped were the ones that were really close to the structure. There might be a few that are removed, that haven't been topped to protect the leach field.
So obviously irregular, that it doesn't take like an ISA certification to realize that there's something healthy there. Yeah. Okay. All right. I'm good.
I mean,
Questions?
I just had, but it's a simple question. I was a little confused. Does this parcel extend to the west side of Berry Road? My only reason for asking the question. Okay.
but it does. It's a big parcel that extends down to the church off West Haven. So it has a lot of forested area behind the structure.
Yeah, and the confusion is in the, what's this called? The addendum. It shows it across Berry Road. My only reason for asking the question is that when we do the calculations for the ratio of parcel size to construction size, is that accurate, or is?
No, the site plan is more accurate. Now it does look like Berry Road may actually encroach on the property for that little corner down at the bottom. But no, this mapping, and if you go on Google Maps, you can see where this imagery came from that original wetland report. And that was why we had such trouble with the site plan at the end. And the reason for that last addendum on this report is because when it was drawn, these maps are not accurately located on the ground. And so trying to match this map of the wetland in here to the actual site plan, this one was problematic. So we had to go, biologists had to go back out and take some measurements and figure out, in relation to the structures, where to put it on the site plan.
Okay, yeah, it's a little confusing. I just wanted to make sure. And then the other question, and it's somewhat unrelated, but apparently there was an animal pen which has been moved.
Yeah.
Not that I really care, but the animals that are in the pen, are they legally there?
As far as I know, there were some complaint about loose chickens at one point, but I think it's goats and chickens.
Okay, but that's
they are allowed to have a certain number of them based on parcel size. So I haven't actually gone out and done a head count, but
okay.
As far as I know, the only complaint has been chickens in the street, and that has been contained.
Okay. Yeah, basically all I had. Anything else from commissioners? I'll let, if the applicant would like to make any comments at this point, Nina? Or your representative, who that might be? Oh, there she is.
Hi there, can you hear me?
Yes.
Nope, I'm just listening in, and all the chickens have been eaten, so we're all good on that front by wild animals. So there's no animals on the property or animal pen anymore. But also just want to say thank you to Trevor. It's been such a beast, and yeah, the redistricting of all of those maps and trying to get the site plan was complicated, to say the least. So yeah, just appreciate all the help of getting through all that. The complexity of it. It's been a bear.
Okay, thank you. At this point, I'll open it up for public comment.
I've none.
None? Okay. Then I'll bring it back to the commissioners. Commissioners, can we entertain a recommendation and a motion?
Yeah, I'll certainly make the motion. I also, before I do that, wanted to say that I think the applicant should be commended for jumping through basically a half decade's worth of hoops to get this done the right way. So, yeah, I think it's worth moving. All right. Based on application materials, information, and findings included in the staff report, and based on public testimony, I find that the project is consistent with the Trinidad LCP and other applicable regulations, and I move to adopt the information and required use permit, design review, and view protection findings in the staff report, and approve the project as described and as conditioned.
I'll
Is there a
second
second?
that.
Moved and second. Any further comments? Hearing none. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? The ayes have it. The project is approved. Okay, thank you. Well, boy, this is going to be quick. It's going to be great. Next item on the agenda are commissioner reports. Any of the commissioners have anything they would like to report at this point?
And here,
Okay. Next item is staff report. Trevor, have anything you'd like to pass on to us?
Yeah, I've been really busy. Not a lot of stuff for you guys though. A lot of it's been related to trails, the Axel Lincoln Memorial Trail, water issues, working on a memorandum of understanding with a new one for with the county environmental health to serve as the health officer to form so those agreements are from the 70s, so a little out of date. And then I'm working on, I got a copy of the safety element to Coastal Commission staff, working on zoning updates. One thing I need to get back to the ADU ordinance. So those would be my next priorities for you guys would be the ADU ordinance. And the other thing I was thinking about doing was working on the emergency services section of the safety element. So that's not a coastal issue, so it's not grant funded, but it's still something you need to do as part of the safety element. I know there's some interest in that. So at least maybe looking at some other examples and pulling out some relevant policies for Trinidad. I don't have all the background information.
but just to clarify, did you say you submitted the safety element to the coastal?
Just to staff for informal review, so not for certification.
Okay, so there could be adjustments.
I'm sure there will be. Sure there will be a long negotiation.
Anything else?
Maybe something, but.
Okay. All right, next item is future agenda items, and we have 5 items. Any comments from commissioners on any of those? We've been carrying these for a while, and I know that it's just a matter of priorities and trying to get some other stuff done, but it's the opportunity that we have either to add to it or remove from it future agenda items.
I was wondering about the annexation. It sounded like the recent city council meetings that they were talking about getting after that issue.
Yeah, I mean, it's something that
Let me just finish my thought. So if they do, does that mean that we wouldn't have any role with the planning commission?
No, you would definitely have a role.
Okay.
Ain't that easy.
No, because it would require an LCP amendment for one, so that you would have to review that for any zoning or annexed areas. It does look like we can proceed with one of the water requests as an outside agency service request that LAFCO can approve fairly quickly, but they're still going to require us to look at annexation within a certain period of time. And I think the city council has shown some interest in that. But there's so much going on in Trinidad. Annexation is a big process. So
Thank you.
Any other comments, questions? Okay, then that brings us to our last item, which is adjournment. And thank you all for participating this evening. Thank you.
You. Thank you for representing the public.
I do what I can.
it's very different. That meeting was quite long.
Yeah.
That was a good one to miss.
They'll say it all languages out.
Recording
So
stopped.
it was redundant. It was the same meeting that